2:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:57 Paul Karp. That's all for the blog for today. Thanks to Michael McGowan for live coverage and Gareth Hutchens for news treatment, including details of a man who lost 25% of the balance of a superannuation account after being advised by an AMP financial advisor to consolidate his super benefits into a single AMP-owned fund. 2:52 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:52 Gareth Hutchens. The Royal Commission has now wrapped up its investigation of inappropriate advice from financial advisors. It will begin looking tomorrow at improper conduct by financial advisors, including the forging of signatures. Today we heard evidence from Kylie Rickson, ANZ's Chief Risk Officer for Digital and Wealth, about the number of inappropriate financial advice instances occurring at ANZ. She said ANZ recorded 60 cases of inappropriate advice in 2008, which increased to 191 in 2013, then jumped significantly to 2,810 in 2015. We also heard evidence from Sarah Britt, AMP's head of advice and compliance, that multiple ANZ clients have not been told that they may have received poor financial advice and are entitled to compensation. 2:36 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:36 updated at 2:40 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:28 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:28 We are on to the first NAB financial advisor case study. Or is taking Hager through the details of a couple who were advised to change their existing MLC life insurance by purchasing it through their superannuation. The wife and husband both nominated each other as the beneficiary of their $200,000 life insurance policies, but only the advisor witnessed the forms when a second witness was needed. When he took the forms back to the office, a client services officer noticed the error and signed despite not having witnessed it. Asked what the potential consequences of this error might be, Hager replied there was potential for the beneficiary nomination form to be invalid and, then the possibility the trustee would allocate the funds differently to the initial wishes expressed by the client. So, husband and wife wanted their partner to get 100% of their death benefit, but the trustee may be able to make a different call? But that's all we have time for, so we're left at a bit of a cliffhanger, and counsel assisting hasn't told us whether this couple are materially disadvantaged. Your remedy? Tune in tomorrow. Updated at 2:31 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:02 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 2:02 1:43 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 1:43 1:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 1:30 The third AMP advisor resigned to work for another financial services company in September 2014 after a decision to terminate his authority. There was some internal debate about what to say if the new company asked AMP for a reference for him, but no request came. Asked if AMP now has a policy of proactively warning companies who take on suspect advisors, Britt replies she is not aware. We reach out proactively and provide that information. But that's because the industry is more vigilant and incoming licensees would always undertake reference checking, she said. 9 months later, in July 2015, in response to an ASIC notice, AMP identified the third advisor as an SCC, Serious Compliance Concern, not Silver Cooking Certificate, which was my first guess. Britt accepted that there was a failure of due diligence when the third advisor was hired. She says this would no longer occur. AMP wrote to the third advisor's clients, but Britt acknowledges the letters did not explicitly offer compensation and no remediation has been offered to these clients to date. 1:18 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 1:18 Michael McGowan. We're still going on the third AMP advisor, but I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Paul Karp, who will bring you home this afternoon. Thanks for following along. 1:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 1:15 updated at 1:16 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 12:56 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 0:56 updated at 12:58 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 12:43 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 0:43 Paul Karp. Outside of Monday's hearings, there has been quite a roll call of political actors trying to deal themselves into the public flogging of the banks: Tony Abbott, Bill Shorten, Pauline Hanson, and now the Australian Council of Trade Unions. ACTU Secretary Sally McManus has written to the chief executives of industry super funds, requesting that they review and reconsider their relationship with banks in accordance with their environmental, social and governance policies. McManus wrote, "Like me, I am sure you have been appalled by the revelations about the outrageous and illegal behavior of our nation's biggest banks and financial services providers exposed by the Hayne Royal Commission this week and in recent media reports. There is no question that this behavior is entirely inconsistent with the expectations and interests of the union movement. If super funds continue their direct and indirect relationships with banks, they should do so only after unequivocally clarifying the expectations and interest of your fund's members. Unions have a high degree of institutional influence over industry super funds through their boards and influence directing their members' retirement funds. It's quite early in the piece for the Act to have fired this warning shot. One hopes the industry funds themselves have clean hands and meet these standards when they appear. 12:34 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 034 updated at 12:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 12:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. 030 We're hearing about a second-amp financial planner who provided inappropriate advice to a customer. The planner gave advice to a young couple, a tradesman and stay-at-home mom with a combined income of $73,000 with a 1-year-old daughter, who sought advice about insurance. The planner recommended the couple replace their existing insurance policy with one from AMP. They were told the new insurance would be about $1,000 cheaper per year. But the planner's advice was wrong. New AMP premiums were about $1,000 more per year. The premiums were being withdrawn from the couple's super. Or asks whether the advice was inappropriate. Potentially, yes. There are deficiencies in the advice document, absolutely. They were picked up on audit. The planner received 3 consecutive D ratings in audits, which Britt concedes was a concerning pattern of conduct. But Britt says the clients have not been remediated or even contacted. Ideally, yes, we would be compensating these clients now, she says. Updated at 1:06 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving